Hello, Rohit.
Greetings, ma'am. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm also pulling off well, ma'am. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, thanks for taking time to talk to us at this busy time when the entire country is under lockdown and your responsibilities have increased manifold. I
Sure,
really
ma'am.
appreciate it.
I was really looking forward to this, ma'am. Thank you so much for
Yeah,
having me.
me too. Congratulations on receiving admit offer from Kellogg M7
Thank you, ma'am.
school. How does it feel?
Ma'am, the feeling is yet to sink in, and because the times were already tumultuous when it happened on March of 25th. So, but it definitely feels good because it had been a while since I was on this path and on this journey to finally land up somewhere. It definitely feels good. It's a very nice feeling.
Yeah, I understand. Rohit, you have a very unique profile. Can you please tell our viewers something about yourself? Where are you from? Where and what did you study as an undergrad? You have 2 degrees. And what do you do now?
Hello, viewers. My name is Dr. Rohit Malan. I come from a village called Kamalpur in the Aligarh district of India, and I studied medicine from University of Delhi. After completing it, I had some ambitions of expanding my horizons, and because of that, I decided to become a civil services officer. I competed in a very competitive civil services examination in 2014, got selected, landed up in Ministry of Defense, started my career as Deputy Assistant Director General, and currently work as the Chief Executive Officer of Cananore Cantonment Board in the state of Kerala. And yes, that's pretty much about it. That is, in a nutshell, what my journey has been.
Can you tell us about your GMAT prep? Given your super demanding job as a civil services officer, it must have been pretty challenging to find time for GMAT prep.
Ma'am, definitely it was true because not only was I working, my office is a public office, and on a daily basis, we interact with public has their own demands to which we cater to. So apart from the regular job, it's a very important and a challenging aspect of my job. So to find the time was a little challenging, but I decided to be slow and steady on the path, and I don't think i could uh, I could state that I was committed for a really the number of hours I gave in every day were not very great because I had to balance a lot of things. But I was definitely steady. I was steady. I was regular, and there was a rhythm. The rhythm may have been slow, but I definitely stuck to it for the entire duration. Definitely it was challenging, but the good thing was I was committed to it. I was liking what I was doing. I was getting the hang of things. I used to take adequate breaks. I used to look after my whether I'm able to understand the concepts, whether I'm able to internalize it. Did not really try to uh, bore myself with a lot of information. Did not really try to pressurize myself with that. I really enjoyed the process overall.
Great. And you did score 760. So that's the best part. It worked. Now about MBA application. Can you share your application strategy, planning, and preparation with our viewers?
I'd like to state first of all that it was quite late in time that I gave my GMAT. I was able to give my GMAT quite late. The admission process was already underway, and the deadlines were hardly maybe 10 weeks away uh, from where I was in a position to start my application process. So there were definitely time constraints. I had certain personal and family related commitments as well that were really important and that could not have been postponed. So that was one particular aspect. So again, from one challenge of GMAT was another challenge of the application process. Again, I tried to be committed. I tried to be regular. I did not try. I avoided being bombarded with a lot of things to do at one particular point of time. I did a lot of juggling with the work and my family commitments and the application process.
I
But
know.
it was definitely very challenging. It used to get overwhelming a lot sometimes, and in those times you were there for the hand holding I needed, which I really appreciate. I used to thank you then as well. So that was it. And as for the strategy, it needed a lot of reflection. uh, I figured that because it was the application process is so elaborate, it is not something which is which could be limited to 2 to 3 pages. It's very methodical, it's very elaborate, and in order to answer the kind of queries, the kind of questions that the application has, that a business school has, it needed a lot of introspection on my part. I needed to reflect on the choices I had made in life, the decisions I took in life, the process I went through in order to land where I am today, and the way forward, the way I could see in a very rational way. Not only did it have the impact of understanding the entire process, I was able to better appreciate and better understand what the business school was asking me, but also it lowered my anxiety. It gave me the headspace I needed to frame my application. And this is given the fact that I'm working in a relatively remote place. I did not really have a very direct contact or informative session with somebody who's been through the process. There are a very limited number of people who were able to guide me, and that too through a distance. So it was really important to have the clarity and headspace, and for that, a lot of reflection was needed.
Right, I understand. So, looking back, what was the most challenging aspect of the application? How did you overcome it? One one most challenging aspect.
Uh, I'd say I'm making a strong case for my candidacy given the unconventional profile I have. Because do I come from a business background? No. I come from a medical background to an administrator and in giving consultation to the government of India and various organizations. From there, I was very clear that what I needed, but I had to, through the application, I needed to convince the B school that it made sense. My plan made sense, and it was really challenging. It was something which was a make or break case in the application, because things do have to make sense, and that is where my essay review and you personally came to the rescue. We had very extensive discussions. We went through. Uh, I think you were part of the entire reflection process that I just described. You helped me better understand a lot of things, uh, uh, a lot about the entire process. And
Enjoyed it.
yes, so that was something which had to be done in a very correct manner, in a very thorough and a streamlined manner. And I think that paid off in the end.
Yeah. So, what would you advise other MBA applicants who are facing similar challenges? Would you like to give some pointers to prospective applicants who have unconventional profiles or
I'd
otherwise?
say I'd say one has to be very clear, because business school is a big investment of not only time but definitely of money. One has to be very sure that the destination does have a path which needs a business school in it, because if not, the B school is going to see through it. So there you have to break your long-term goals into something which is short-term and medium-term, for things to make sense, for the dots to connect. And if one is able to do that, not only will he be less anxious or not at all anxious, but he'll make a good point and a good case for himself in
Right.
front of the admissions committee during the time of interviews. And that is something which would really help him at the end of the day.
Right. So would you like to share some your most memorable leadership experience as a chief executive officer in Jhansi?
First of all, I'd like to say that Government of India in the last 4 years has given me immense experiences to recollect and share with a lot of people. But something that is really close to me is uh, a particular law enforcement activity that I undertook in Jhansi, in which we had to take action against a black market which was being run by uh, the local mafia there. It was something very challenging because we had to take action against a slum, an illegal market, the revenue. We had to take action in order to rectify the loss of revenue to the government. So I think finally I was leading a team of 100 people of my own office, 100 people from the police, the auxiliary services. That was something really challenging, but it did come through. Not only the right of establishment, the right of the government was established, the taxes which were due to those people were recovered by the government. And at the end of the day, it was good for them also because they were given social security. They came under the social security net of the government by ensuring health and education for the children, for their families. So that experience is really close to me.
Yeah. You hardly get any time to engage in any extracurricular activities, but still you have impressive extracurricular activities and interests and hobbies. Would you like to tell us something about your hobbies and interests?
Um, Ma'am, it's not about the time. It's something that hobby kind of rejuvenates one's a person. So I've always been that kind of a person who is inquisitive, who's curious, who's looking to improve his skill at a particular thing. Need not be something very good or great. Um, so in the last 3 years, if I have to tell you, I have bettered myself at swimming, which got extrapolated to scuba diving, and I am a licensed scuba diver actually, and I am authorized to conduct unsupervised scuba diving till a particular depth anywhere in the world. So again, that is something which is really close to me. It was a lot of fun. It was it had a lot to do with it. One major thing was, in order to be able to do something which you're scared of, you're not so comfortable, you need to get out of your comfort zone, which makes it very special.
I know.
Apart from that, I have been a badminton player for a really long time. I used to play for my college. I did a few games for my school. I have continued that passion as a hobby. And apart from that, very recently, I picked up air rifle shooting as well.
Oh, good. So at Kellogg, you will find opportunities to pursue these hobbies and interests, some of these hobbies and
Hopefully,
interests.
ma'am. Hopefully, definitely.
Now, finally, as you know, COVID-19 has turned our lives upside down. Given the current turmoil and uncertainty created by the international health crisis, what challenges are you anticipating in your MBA experience as an international student in the US?
From what I've come to understand by having very extended chats and discussions with the prospective applicants, the uh, already admits, the current students, and the faculty of the B schools, the situation is not yet clear to anybody. Nobody could give you very definite answers as yet, and it's based on the data which is coming in and the extrapolation of that data over a period in short term and medium term. So whatever, if anything, is there to be said, I think one should just wait and watch. But the way it looks, I think the degree of interaction, the degree of immersiveness, which is something which is part of the B school curriculum, I think it is headed for an adverse impact, I could say.
Yeah. So are you hopeful that the in-person classes will start? in August?
Definitely, that is the hope, because uh, in the last 48 hours, I'd say a lot of positive news has started to come up. If you talk about the curve related to the fatalities, the number of new cases, uh, the cases under testing. So the figures have shown a change in trajectory. I really hope all goes well and we're able to see this through.
Yeah, we all hope that things get back in order soon and we are able to resume our normal lives.
Definitely.
Have you received any updates from Kellogg?
Yes, ma'am. So Kellogg has been regularly in touch with all of its admits via email, via webinars, via interactive programs.
Mm-hmm.
So again, they are in the process of monitoring the situation. They are pondering over various issues which are being marked by the prospective applicants, by the admits. They are still in the process, and hopefully in another 4 or 5 days, everybody's expecting some very concrete
Okay.
decisions and answers.
Okay. Let's hope it will be a positive one and you'll be able to resume the session from August, whatever the date is. What's the date?
They've asked everybody to join by 21st of August.
21st. Yeah. Rohit, it was really nice talking to you. Is there anything else you think I should have asked?
Ma'am, apart from what we discussed, I think as a message that I'd like to give the audience is that no dream is too big. I think one uh, need not have been a champion all through his life to do something like this. One should be, I think the most important thing is perseverance. One should have the clarity of thought so that in times of a rainy day, he's able to see through it. And one should definitely seek help if one is stuck, if one is hustling with a particular problem, because it's a very elaborate process. It's not something that you get done overnight. There is a process. You think about the exam, you prepare for it, you give it, then comes the application, then the interviews, etc. And I just like to once again say that it was really nice that you had the kind of patience you had, because we went through so many edits so many times, and you were, as I said, you were part of the overall reflection that I had to do. And at so many times I remember that you could give a bit you could help me achieve a better perspective on the things, on the way to bring it out, to make a strong case for myself, given the word limit, given uh, the limitations which are there in the application. So again, thank you so much for that.
Thank you. It was my pleasure assisting you with your application. I really enjoyed it.
That's very kind of you, ma'am.
So, yeah, so the pleasure was all mine. Thank you for sharing your story with us. It was really nice chatting with you. I hope things get better soon. And good luck with your Kellogg experience and continued success in your career.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Bye.